Rottweiler. Some of you guys don't know that I can move like a Shaolin monk. That right there I learned in China. I want to take the crown from Donald Trump. I want to be the first Israeli president. I was born here, so I could become one. And my force with my speed. I'm probably one of the fastest guys on the planet when it comes down to punching and moving around. My mom had really big boobs. So I remember my mom, my aunts, everybody, like as a little child, the thing that I had to always avoid was like my aunt's tit not to hit me in the head. You see, I don't see myself as a regular man. I call myself half man, half God. There's a reason for that. Anything that comes my way, if you stand in front of me, I'll take you down. If you'll stand beside me, I'll take you with me. If you'll stand behind me, I will protect you.
Well, guys, it looks like we are back once again with one of the most well-known and disliked alpha males in the AMU, which of course would have to be King Azoulay. And we have a pretty special and unique video today because I figured that since King Azoulay has basically been radio silent over the past couple of weeks and has only been promoting this fight with Ali Soba that will more than likely never happen, that we would take a step back and look at all of the truly ridiculous and crazy things that this man-child has said. And I have combed through all of his public content that he for some reason decided to post and have picked out all of the funniest and craziest quotes from the wannabe king here. And trust me when I say this, there is an absolute shit ton of them. So many in fact that they range from some of the craziest and dumbest topics that you could possibly think of. I mean, for fuck's sake, we have heard this man go ahead and claim things like being related to King Solomon and tried to justify it as being the reason that he named himself king.
And you just said you're a descendant of King Solomon. I named myself king once I found that out. And then I grew my beard and I realized I have his wisdom. It was passed down. I felt something for a very long time. Well, they say King Solomon, one of the wisest and richest man that ever lived. The smartest man, the wisest man. How do you know you're related to him? Well, we went back through my last name and then looked at my DNA and found out that I'm a descendant of his.
And then on the very next podcast, you'll go ahead and find the descendant of King Solomon here talking about how he just has a 9-inch cock and how Jews just have larger penises than normal before going on a rant about how women just can't believe it's real.
All Jews have bigger penises than average. In the United States, the average size is right under 5 inches. In Israel, it's 6.5. I'm over 9. No lie, ask my girl, swear to God. Where every single girl that I've ever been with has said, I didn't know this exists. I thought it was only in movies. And you know what's funny? My whole life people told me, you must work out so much because you're trying to compensate for something so little. They didn't understand. I work out so much so the rest of the body could fit the guy in the middle.
And then in the next clip you see of him, he'll just be talking about something else completely wild and out of pocket, like dodging his mom and aunt's tits and then comparing them to other women in today's society. So like I said, he is truly just all over the place.
My mom had really big boobs. So I remember my mom, my aunts, everybody, like as a little child, the thing that I had to always avoid was like my aunt's tit not to hit me in the head. And then coming here, all of a sudden, no women have boobs.
And you're like Floyd Mayweather. You're used to dodging.
I'm used to dodging, and all of a sudden, none of these women in my generation or the generation after me have boobs. But my question is, did they put something in the food to remove some of the hormones that will grow your boobs? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, they give you a solution, it's boob job. But how come every girl in my gym doesn't have boobs?
So with this goober just being completely all over the place, as you can clearly tell by my examples that I just showed you, I have decided to divide this video into a few different categories to keep us somewhat on a timeline. And the first category that we'll actually be covering are the quotes and stories that this man has decided to tell about his childhood. And to start this childhood category off, we will begin with one of the oldest stories that I think I've seen him tell about himself, which was the fact that when he was 6 years old, his mother apparently would allow him to basically be fucking Tarzan, and he would go out into the wild alone for days at a time and would be out here apparently laying in the fields and howling into the night like some sort of little 6-year-old forest man. Like it's some of the most ridiculous shit that I think I've ever heard.
So I would go into the forest and disappear for 2 days at a time. So at age of 6, my mom bought me a cell phone and said, well, you need to have this on you because I need to track you. I don't know where you're going to be, I don't know where you are, we're looking for you. And I wouldn't show up for 2 days, and it was because I was sleeping in the fields. And at night I would howl at, the wolves. It was crazy, but that was me. I was like little Mowgli. So they used to call me Tarzan and Mowgli and all of that. And I was inspired by these movies to be just like them because I felt like we had a lot in common.
So according to Ben here, he was just this little 6-year-old mountain man that was communicating with all of the forest creatures on just some next level Disney-like bullshit. And he was just in tune with nature as soon as he came out the damn womb. And this was a theme that I noticed throughout all of Ben's stories about his childhood, and was basically the theme that led to him apparently becoming the supposed badass that he is today. And he actually ended up telling a story about how he lost his innocence and how he became just such a damn savage, as he would put it. And it was this complete bullcrap right here about how he made friends with a poisonous snake that his mother was okay with him holding. So we are talking about one of the worst mothers in the world at this point, if this is actually true. And according to Ben here, when he was 6, the snake actually ended up getting killed by an 18-year-old bully, so he attacked the bully with a brick.
One day I found a snake, and that snake was a very large snake. Easily with one bite, I would have been dead. It was about 6-7 foot, black, dangerous, poison. But when I brought him back home, my mom saw him. She kind of freaked out, but she knew that for some reason, me and the animals knew how to connect, and that snake was not going to bite me. So once I decided that I was going to take him back, I told my mom bye, and I walked back to the forest. Right before I reached the forest, one of my neighbors, who was an 18-year-old boy, decided to yell at me. And when he came up to me, he pushed me and told me he wants to kill my snake. You could imagine as a little boy, I wasn't strong enough to fight him. And when he tossed me to the ground, he picked up a big rock, and as I was screaming, he smashed it over the head of the snake. So just a few days later, I decided to wait outside his house. I had a red brick in my hand, and when he was walking, I smashed it over his head. And when his head split open and he fell on the ground screaming, I smashed it again, and I smashed it again. And then I walked away as I threw the brick to the side.
So there is already just so many issues with this story alone, but he did make sure to claim after that he didn't kill the bully, but instead just really hurt him, and it was the first time that he had to deal with the police. Now, I didn't think that I had ever heard a bigger load of bullshit in my life, but seeing that this video was about Ben and this is just the beginning, it only gets crazier from here. And following our timeline, and still talking about Ben's younger childhood, he has also told some crazy bullshit stories, like how he was 10 and how the doctor was thinking that he was on steroids. So apparently after this snake situation, the guy immediately got into the gym and just started lifting so hard that he was tricking doctors into thinking he was roided up already.
When I was 10, my dad took me to the doctor and he was like, what did you do to this kid? Are you giving him steroids? He's like, no, the kid doesn't stop lifting things, doesn't stop doing pull-ups, push-ups. So I don't know what to do with him. A year ago, I realized when there's kids that are extremely hyper, he does not have ADD. He's just being a boy, but his soul is higher than the body. Our soul, when it comes to this world, it doesn't want to come into this body. The body restrains the soul. It doesn't allow you to go anywhere. Our body and our soul are business partners, and we cannot detach them unless we die. But as I was working out, I realized that my soul was higher than my body, and I wanted to expand my body so much so my soul will fit inside and will not feel claustrophobic. And when I got to 235 pounds, I felt so happy. I was walking around with a smile everywhere. I could breathe. And that's why I was working out.
So we were clearly just full of different levels of bullshit, where for some reason, Ben felt the need to add in that part about him being this insanely badass 10-year-old. But this was nothing compared to our next category of quotes and stories from Ben, which was when he became a teenager, where apparently he was the most badass 13-year-old to ever walk the damn planet. And it led to this clip right here that ended up going viral, and was pretty much the factor that blew this goober up to become what he became today.
That point on, my dad knew he couldn't take on me. I was 13. He picked up a wooden stick and he went to hit me over the head, and I did this and it broke. And then I took it out of his hand, picked him up and threw him on the coffee table. That's the beauty that we are actually superhumans.
And this badass teenager that he claimed to be, where the man thought he was just superhuman and appears to still think that, continued to develop through his little stories online, and it has led to a variety of different stories about being outnumbered and beating multiple people's asses at once, with the first one being him beating off 5 Mexicans in a bathroom in high school.
I went to Grant High School. We had a police station in the school, and one day there was 5 Mexican dudes trying to jump me in the bathroom. I beat the shit out of them. I left one of them with his head in the toilet.
And this was already kind of absurd to begin with, but this quickly multiplied, where he supposedly only got his ass whooped one time by 30 different guys at the age of 13. So Ben here was such a badass 13-year-old that apparently it took 30 different guys to take him down, and he managed to beat off 30 guys at once, leading to this clip that I am sure you have all already seen, which by the way has been told more than one time and has changed each and every time he tells it.
I got my ass kicked one time in my life. I was 13 years old. I got jumped by about 30 guys outside of a house party. When I was 13 years old, I got jumped by like 30 guys. They beat shit out of me. One hit me with a baton over the face. And that was the time that I stopped hanging out with people. And believe it or not, today, one of my best friends is a black guy. But at the time, you know, it was literally people that I knew, and they jumped me, you know, 30 guys.
That's crazy.
There were 17 and 18. I was 13.
Oh my God.
5 of them are all got taken out.
And the craziest part is that as I went through all of this goober's clips, and after I got done watching him talk about how he doesn't associate with black guys anymore after getting jumped, both of these numbers somehow fucking increased from 5 to 10 and from 30 to 40 guys in the same damn clip. So this guy right here, later on, has now increased the numbers drastically and just got even more ridiculous, with the only thing remaining consistent is the fact that he was apparently 13.
It's not a problem for me to fight somebody who is bigger, who might be taller, whatever it is, I don't care. I fought guys that were 7 foot tall, and I fought guys that were almost 400 pounds. I fought 10 guys at the same time and beat their ass, and I fought 40 guys and I got jumped by them, and I was 13 years old. It did not matter how many people it was, how big you are, you could be 50 feet tall. If I'm going to kick you with my shin to your leg or to your face, you're going bye-bye.
So clearly, at such a young age, he was already one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever walk the face of this earth, and was already just handing out ass whoopings to enormous amounts of people. But this is not where this guy's amazing life that he has created in his own head has even began to end. Because our next stage in Ben Azoulay's just lunatic and ridiculous stories then led to him being 17 and apparently joining the underground fights and joining the mafia. And no, I am not joking. This guy claimed to join a Russian mafia.
I was a menace to society. Well, I would go out to places and I would stare at people. It was Russian guys, but I ended up beating the kind of like 5 of them. And the boss took out a gun, put it to my head, told me to stop fighting. I said, shoot me, and told me to come outside to talk to him. He told me, I'm not going to shoot you, I just want you to stop. And he looked me in the eyes and he realized I was a young boy, 15 years old. He pulled his pants, told me, come, I want to talk to you. He tells me, I'm not going to do anything to you, I just want to talk to you. When we went outside, he, let's say, approached me in the wrong ways.
Brought the legs.
And I was like, whoa, what are you doing? My dad kicked me out on the streets when I was 17. Obviously, working with the mafia, he didn't like that. I was one of the leading actors, superstars of the world, like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Bruce Lee. I could run off of walls and do flips off of trees, parkour. I could fight, I could do it all.
They're not done, man.
And eventually, at the age of 18, I became one of the guys in the mafia. I was named the Kid, and it was the Russian mob. So it's called the Red Mob. I started fighting underground fights.
Wow. Yeah. He's telling the freaking truth.
Dick Rider! Dick Rider, Dick Rider, Dick Rider!
You started kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, he was putting me in there with anybody. I told him, give me anybody, I'll eat their throat. I don't care who it is.
You were just a kid.
I was a kid. He was literally saying, just kill him. He was literally telling me, go and
you could just go whoop their ass. Just go kill them.
Fucking kill him. I was just insane.
Sorry, Mom.
I was insane. So when someone would punch me, if they didn't punch me, I'd punch myself and say, punch me.
That's exactly.
Get me.
So there were already some small inconsistencies in these different stories that you just heard, and from these different clips about him apparently talking about being in the mafia. But the craziest part to me is he not only was glazing the living shit out of himself, but he brought on his own personal meat rider to ride his schlong that apparently is 9 inches, like you heard in the beginning, throughout the entire podcast, to where this guy is just making shit up. And this was just one of many different origin stories that we have gotten from Ben, with others consisting of him being in the Israeli Special Forces, which has already been thoroughly debunked, so I'm not even going to get into it. And the real storyline where he went to jail for some very interesting things. But this will now lead into our next category, which is Ben telling stories about him being an adult, and him trying to set this very manly and this very tough persona, where he is apparently just this badass killer who is completely unstoppable and is just this alpha male Chad. And this is where we have gotten some of his most ridiculous claims, and where he has gotten himself the title of being a fake alpha male. And it started with bullshit clips like these right here.
People look at me as soon as I walk in and they're like, who is this guy? It's like I'm literally going to hurt somebody. Thousands of years ago, men that looked like me came in and slayed your family, took your women because they looked like me. They were bearded, they had shaved sides, their hair like this. It's just more intimidating. So if there's a gazelle and she sees a lion, she doesn't know why she's running away, but she runs away. So when I walk into a place, I'm always standing very straight. My physique, it has like this powerful look to it. People are like, hey, that guy looks like a killer. But when I was sitting across and speaking to one of the guys, another guy on the podcast said, I feel scared sitting here next to you.
He said that to you?
Yeah. He's a big guy, bigger than me. Bald guy, tattoos. He's like, I'm scared. Are usually people scared next to you? And I told him, usually they are. And I walk in and I look at people and I'm ready to. It's like when you see a gazelle and she sees a lion. She understands it's a lion. How does she understand the lion could eat her? My energy is so strong and I walk so powerful. I have the beard, the hair slicked back, muscles. That creates like tension in a room.
And wow, do those sound 10 times worse than they originally did? Before we had John Bravo just absolutely expose this man for his crazy crooked past.
I was never convicted of. I was convicted of oral copulation with a minor. I was 18, she was under 18. And I agreed to take a plea deal that I got a job from her.
Especially the part about him taking your women, and the part about the gazelle running and not actually knowing why she is running. Like, man, it's almost as if it was being hinted at. And of course, when he's putting on a tough guy macho act like this, he also has to have some made up tough guy stories to go with it. And you better not be doubting those stories or even considering the idea that you would spar with him for fun, because he's not trained for some light sparring or for some fun sparring. He is apparently only trained to kill. Well, that, and obviously he's also trained in the art of bullshitto, because this guy's just talking out of his ass 24/7.
I had a guy talk shit to me, and he was literally from another fucking country on the other side of the planet. I traveled last year to Europe. And who did I run into? The guy. You think I didn't smack him? Of course I did. And after that, he apologized. I was in Hollywood before, and this girl got slapped in the face, and her boyfriend ran away. Do you know who protected the girl?
Another girl. Oh.
Me. I almost went to jail. I knocked out the guy. He smacked the girl, and he looked at the guy and said, what? And the guy ran away. That was her boyfriend. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Come here. I brought her behind my back. And I told the guy, if you get near her one more time, I'm going to hurt you really bad. And he was like, what? And you can imagine what he probably looked like. So I knocked him out.
Now, I mean, I would still spar with you because I know you wouldn't kill me. But like, if it was a serious
sparring
fight,
is fun. But I was trained to kill.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I'm trained to kill. I'm not trained to wrestle. I'm not trained to spar. So I'll spar for fun. But my training is to kill. I come in to kill you. When I punch somebody, I don't punch their head. I'm imagining my fist going through their head, the back of their head. Their head gets stuck here on my elbow. That's how Bruce Lee used to punch. He punched.
And who was like that? Mike Tyson. He comes in and when he punches, why'd you see everybody's head flying? Because he tried to put his fist through the guy's head. That's why every single punch you see people flying. Look today, all the knockouts that are in UFC. Somebody kicks him, he does a slap kick. Chin, boom, boom, boom. Guy goes down this way. Mike Tyson, Bruce Lee, it's a different punch.
So clearly, the guy just loves to yap and act like he is just this complete expert when it comes to fighting, when in reality, it just sounds like he's making up some absolute bullshit. And on top of that, he of course loves to tell a good story where he just looks like the complete badass and the complete hero. And it seems that those acting classes may have really paid off a little bit, because he is pretty good at just saying some outrageous shit with one of the straightest faces I've ever seen. And this trend of talking about fighting really takes a turn into one specific category that he has become really well known for, and one topic that he is extremely obsessed with, and that would of course be the Shaolin monks, which he has so many clips about these damn monks where he is basically just saying the same thing and glazing how they just bang their head into the wall to make their skull 4 times thicker. So I went ahead and just pulled the best parts from all of his clips, and I want you to really focus on the videos throughout these clips because these are his videos. I did not add these in, and it really just makes it all look so much more goofy because it had to be the dumbest videos of the monks that he could have possibly found.
Who are the strongest humans in the world? The Shaolin monks. They don't get near a woman ever, and they don't release ever. Not allowed to. They break anybody's bones. They don't come into the UFC because they know they could destroy anybody in the UFC. You can't choke them out. I trained with them. They hanged themselves, literally, for fun. So that way they work on different parts of the neck, so you can't like strangle them. You can't sit there and, do a rear naked choke on a Shaolin monk. He just doesn't feel it. He learns how to breathe while he's being choked. The greatest thing about the Shaolin monks is that you'll never see them fight. They explained to me that the strongest part of the body is actually your skull. If you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is. You could punch them, you could kick them in the head. All they have to do is turn the head to wherever you're hitting, and they will break any bone in your body. So the stronger that I got and the more indestructible that I got, I found myself never fighting again. After many years of training my shins and my elbows and my knees to become indestructible, I went to train in China with some of the Shaolin monks, and they explained to me that the strongest part of the body is actually your skull. And if you train your skull for about an hour a day, bang it against the wall, after a year it becomes 4 times thicker than it really is, which means that you become unstoppable, indestructible. You know that the Shaolin monks don't ever end their life?
How did you even get connected with them?
When we came to the US, I started eating at a Chinese restaurant. The owner was, for me, Master Shifu. When I used to go there, eventually the owner fell in love with me, and he said, "Your kid is special." And I would come to him, and before I would eat, he would move all of the tables, and he would teach me Kung Fu. And I was 10 years old, so I learned how to move with like Kung Fu,
Yeah.
It was different, and I loved it. And that inspired me, because I said, I'm gonna be like Bruce Lee. And I would come there every day and I would train after school. And then after I would have my beef and broccoli. And from there, when I got older, I said, I really want to go and train with the Shaolin monks. First of all, they don't accept you. Today they do, by the way. You get paid to go there.
How did you get in?
You have to wait outside of the temple. When they let you in, they teach you things that are unbelievable. Some of you guys don't know that I can move like a Shaolin monk. That right there, I learned in China.
And there you have it. You just had the honor of hearing the supposed king talk about the Shaolin monks' jizzing habits before just yapping on about how he went to China and trained with them, and how he was apparently training with Master Shifu, aka Master. And obviously, it is just downright ridiculous. And as I said, I couldn't put every clip in there because there are so damn many with him talking about these fucking monks, but those definitely had to be the highlights of the clips that I did take out. And we are still not done with the ridiculous bullshit and quotes that this guy's constantly putting out, because our next category has to do with all of the insanely stupid statistics and stats that this guy is constantly trying to put out, but never ends up supporting with any type of evidence whatsoever. He is just throwing out percentages, 90%, 700, 650, it doesn't matter. If he can think of it, it's just getting yelled out. And like with the monks, this is also a thing that he is constantly doing, so I decided to just take out the ones that didn't repeat too much, even though some of them do sound like they repeat, but it's just him slightly changing what he's saying. And I took out some of the best ones that I could find, where clearly the guy was just talking out of his ass.
Nobody looks like me. People say, but you take steroids. 90% of the fucking people in the gym take steroids.
So what do you say to those people who say that you take steroids?
Look, I've taken steroids in the past when I wanted to compete. I thought I was going to be Mr. Olympia. When I realized that I'm fighting for something extremely stupid and a $2 trophy. I used to go to 24-hour fitness, and I used to sleep at the fucking gym so I could wake up for a morning workout. And my morning workout was at 2 a.m. I wanted to fuck with everybody, so I'd post myself doing a workout at 2 a.m. That is who I am. I'm the warrior. And then I arrived there like a little fucking bitch. I'm on stage with my little bitchy underwear. And I'm like, hey, I brought the best physique out here. And they're like, you know, you did. But today we were looking for a film. This is an NPC show. It's not the Olympia. I then realized I don't want to do it. It is all politics. He was on a team. I wasn't. They're going to let me win?
No, they're not.
By the way, fuck you, Tamer.
Who's that?
Tamer is one of the main judges of the NPC.
Uh-huh.
You know, there was a study that they did to see why men are prison. And 99.6% of the men in prison are in prison due to a woman.
If I punch you right now, you will feel it 40% less than he will feel it without a beard. You know that the beard shows that you're from a warrior bloodline because we survived more than all the rest.
Let me teach you 5 ways to raise your testosterone levels naturally without taking steroids, and I'll show you that I could take you to the next level in life. First one is sit in the ice between 3 to 5 minutes daily. If you do that, you'll boost your testosterone levels by 700%. Go for a sprint. That will bring it up by 120%. Sit out in the sun completely naked for about 30 minutes a day. That's going to boost it up by 140%. Lower your body fat. That's going to boost up your testosterone levels. And best for last, if you have a ton of women that are interested in you and want you, that's naturally going to boost up your testosterone levels because biologically, that's how you were created. When there was women around you, guess what you were ready to do? You were ready to make, baby. And here for 3 minutes, we'll remove 1,600 calories off of my body, bring up my testosterone levels by 700%, and speed up my metabolism by 350%. Let's get into some facts.
And at this point, he is just saying shit and throwing out numbers because he thinks that the numbers will make him sound smarter or will make him sound like he somewhat knows what he's talking about. And it just ends up sounding completely absurd, like that little one about the beard, talking about you're gonna feel it 40% less, like that is actually something that he measured. And the whole percent thing kind of goes hand in hand with our next category, which is the fact that the guy is just constantly making up his own little scientific facts and methods where he thinks he's cooking, but in reality, he just ends up saying some of the dumbest shit he possibly could. And these involve crazy things like measuring someone's testosterone by looking at their finger, or being able to talk faster and think faster because you watch everything in 2x, and even that you can go like 8, 9, or 10 days without water, as he put it.
Let me give you a life-changing hack. What if you could think twice as fast? That would mean that you would have twice the amount of hours in the day. You see, most people ask, how do I speak so concisely? And how do I speak so fast? Well, here's the hack. Everything I listen to is at 2x speed. Everything I think about is at 2x speed. Every time I make a move, it's at 2x speed. If you'll start to 2x speed, everything you're listening to, and even as small as bringing up the speed of the mouse on your computer, I absolutely guarantee you'll be able to think twice as fast, register twice as fast, receive information twice as fast. Try it out and let me know after a month what happens.
When I meet somebody, you want to know how I run a testosterone check on them, you look at their hands. If this one is shorter than this one, you probably squat to pee. If this finger is at the same level as this one, your testosterone level is low. If this finger is longer than this finger, your testosterone level is high. The sunlight will start hitting the plants and it creates a process called photosynthesis. It releases oxygen into the air. If you take your first hit of oxygen when it comes out, you will feel refreshed for the whole day.
And I have no idea who told this man that he just speaks really fast, but apparently it got to his head and he created his own little method for it. And out of all of that, the craziest part to me is the fact that he didn't even understand how photosynthesis worked, and he's talking about it like a meth head would, talking about taking your first hit of oxygen. So clearly, it is all just downright ridiculous, and it's a way for him to kind of self-glaze and to try to make himself look like he's this badass who knows all of these different things and can do all of these different things. And he has used these scientific facts to such an extent that he has also tried to use it in order to try to prove that he is a good person. And his test for this was by going and petting what I can only assume was a domesticated and trained deer.
Let me share with you something about animals. Animals have the best senses. They'll know exactly if you're a good person and to stay next to you, or if you're a bad person, to run away from you. See that Bambi over there? Let's run that test. See that? That means you're a good person. Look, she's licking me. Huh? Licking me? Means she knows that I'm a good person. Good girl. If you're a bad person, she will never let you do that. You? Oh, see that? There's an appreciation lick right there. It says, I appreciate you.
And yeah, it kind of just speaks for itself at this point. And normally people who are actually good people don't have to sit there and try to prove it in some of the dumbest ways possible. And with that said, we are reaching the end of this guy's just goofiest quotes and dumbest things, but we do have one more segment that we have to go over. And that would of course be his catchphrase at this point, which is F students are inventors. And he basically just reruns the same little thing when he says this. So I decided to just take a couple of different clips where he mixes it up a little bit and just rambles on about this BS.
One of the questions that I get asked by young boys is, will I ever become a millionaire going to school? And you know what my question to them is?
What is it?
When you're in school, are you allowed to leave school?
No, you're stuck there.
And if you don't go to school,
They'll call your parents, and if you don't show up for a few days, they'll even call the authorities.
now what does it remind you of?
Jail. Why is that?
School is jail. The hallways look like jail. The cafeterias look like jail. The only time you're allowed to leave class and go to lunch, I was a high school dropout. I also got kicked out of 17 schools in total, but I never let school get in the way of my education. I don't believe in school. I was an F student, and I've told this before, F students are the creators of the world.
I agree. I don't believe in school either.
And yeah, Ben, we can all tell that you are a high school dropout, and you don't have to tell us. But I think that this is the perfect place to go ahead and end this one. And I am sure there are a couple clips that I might have missed. But it was getting pretty long, and this man says a lot of crazy shit. So I did my best to collect them the best I actually could. And I tried to organize it for you guys in a way that was actually coherent. So if you enjoyed, please drop the sub and the like, and go ahead and join the Saints Mafia, where we are just gadooshing all of these different alpha males on a daily basis. And I'm out. Watching every single quote that I could find by Ben, where he just said some absurd things. In peace.
They were working with Pablo Escobar. He trusted people. He believed that nobody was going to steal from him. So he didn't send you coke and ask you to send him money at the same time. There was, here it is, I'm fronting you. Don't F me because I'll F you 10 times worse. When you sell it, bring me the money. My uncle, being greedy, he kept the money and he told him that the Beverly Hills Police Department took the supply. Pablo had people everywhere. My uncle then got caught by Pablo and he shot. They blasted him like 2,000 bullets.
You're going, bye-bye.